let's get into this. This is going to be my review of College Hill Celebrity Edition, Season 1, Episode 2. Let's get into this. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm back with another review like I said I would. And this is going to be the second episode review of College Hill Celebrity Edition, which is based on the campus of Texas Southern University. So, I gotta say, like I said before, I'm liking the show. And I don't like Ray J, but I'm really liking the show. So what happens is this episode does have a lot of layers to it because we see the team working on their project, but we also have like personal issues dealing with health. And then we also have, a situation of bereavement as well as the team, competing and talking about, ethical issues amongst the group and then having a presentation. And then also having one-on-one talks about how they feel about even going to college or returning to college. So we pretty much open up with the scene that I really like the most is this scene. So we see the groups working on their project. So team 1 is Hero Hair. And that's consisting of Nene Leakes, Big Frida, which, by the way, those two are very close. I don't care. Lamar Odom and Stacey Dash. So the three of them, sans Stacey Dash, are working on the project. So the concept of Hero Hair is to basically sit yourself under the dryer while your hair is, damp, not really like heavily wet. And no, I take that back. You don't sit there with your hair wet or dry or damp. You sit there with your hair already dry. And the whole thing is you're coloring your hair, you're styling your hair, and you're basically setting the length of the hair that you want in a matter of minutes for it to be ready. So when you sit under the dryer for, let's say, 40 minutes, sometimes even over an hour, your hair is already dry. If you have a style that you want, let's say curls, flat twist, certain type of styles, it will be dry and it will take a long time. But with this, you could get whatever style, cut, length you want in a matter of minutes. So a matter of minutes could be 5 minutes, so to speak. So I like this because I love hairstyles. Anything dealing with hair care, I love it. So for me, I really was rooting for Team Hero Hair. However, because Stacey was their CEO, Nene was there at the time. I believe she was a CFO. Frida was the chief marketing officer, and Lamar is the VP of sales. Their CEO, who they should not have picked Stacey, was not there working on the project. Now, which I said was a bad move initially because she wasn't a team player. She wasn't trying to talk to anyone. You should have just had her at like a lower position in terms of being a group. The person who should have been, in my opinion, the CEO should have been Big Frida. That's just my thing. So then we have the other team that's working on their product called the German Laser. So even though Hero Hair was my favorite product, the way Ray J, Tabitha, which is Dream Doll, India Love, and India Westbrook, and Slim Thug really was working on it, I said they would be the ones to get the better grade. So the way Ray J broke down the German Laser and the influence of the German Laser is because they saw Lamar Odom not washing his hands. And they said that he had the cooties and he was going to the bathroom and not washing his hands. That is some nasty SHIT Pun intended. Okay? You got to be a nasty grown man and you got children and you doing that? That is just not right. But then again, this man had 12 strokes in one day. So his brain is wired differently at this point, in my opinion. So basically Ray J has an excellent business acumen. And I think a lot of that plays into the fact his mother is a businesswoman. And the fact that he's a Capricorn. And Capricorn is a sign of business. So that can play a role also. So here's the thing. So the concept of it is when your hands are dirty, you put it against the light. If it's dirty, even if it doesn't pick up right away, the dirt will basically be highlighted with the red light. If your hands are clean, it will be highlighted with a green light. So let me break down the plan. Ray J said we buy 12,000 germinator machines, or 1,000 of them, $12 wholesale, I believe. 1,000 of them for $28 wholesale, or 12,000 of them for 12,000 of them for like $20 wholesale. And then we sell them, and that's 336,000 right there. I'm not, like I said, I ain't the best business person. And then what happens is we take 1,000 of them and give them away for promo. Then the 11,000 of them we sell at the price of $199. Ray J broke this shit down beautifully, and I can't stand Ray J. But if there's one thing he got up on me, it's his business skills. I'm just going to come out and say it. That's why he's rich without having to be able to know how to sing. So what happens is that we get a scene where Slim Thug is talking with Big Frida. And so he's like, I'm just getting ready to know you. And growing up, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't hang out with people like yourself. So I want to know what are the proper pronouns to use. He said, Frida said, most people call me Brista, which is like a brother and a sister. So when I'm with my homies, the boys on the block, the dudes, they call me bro. When I'm with my, the females and stuff, and I'm hanging with them, they call me, sis. When I'm with my children, whether they gay or straight, they call me, I think he said they call him mom, so to speak. And then he said, when I am actually, around my sister, sometimes she calls me brother, or sometimes refers to me as sister. But he says, I'm whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call me. It's just about a matter of respect. He said, gender fluidity, is basically kind of what it is, so to speak. And I've always been this person all my life. I've never had to hide. I've never had to, conceal who I am. And he said, it's just a matter of respecting people. And that's the thing, just respect. And Slim Thug said something very poignant. He said, I always like to interact with different groups of people. And I feel like you can learn from a lot of different people when you interact with different groups. Because he said it's all about learning and about teaching. And it's about basically respecting the other person. And Big Frida said it's about being secure with yourself. And Slim Thug said, exactly, it's about being secure. And he said, I'm secure with who I am. And Big Frida said, I can tell. And this is a thing that I want to say in relation to a lot of paleo conservatives. A lot of paleo conservatives who really preach against gay people, because they're not really preaching against homosexuality. They're preaching against the existence of gay people. Many of them are closeted gay people, homosexuals themselves. And they practice homosexuality on the low. Many of them are also pedophiles. I hope YouTube doesn't demonetize this video because I said that P word. Okay, let me clean that up. they're abusers or they do bad things to children. So I feel as though them having that talk was a good way to say, if you are yourself and you know who you are, you're not going to hate someone because of how they live their life if that person isn't harming other people. That's what it is. So then we get to Frida making breakfast. And Frida sees India. And Frida asks us, how do you like your pancakes? India's like, I like my fluffy. Frida's like, well, I like mine, a little crispy at the edges. Me, personally, I like them all kinds of ways. As long as they taste good, I'm good. Because I love pancakes. So Frida says, well, what is your expectation of being in college? She said, first of all, my fans are going to be surprised when they find out that I went to college, because I always talked about how I never, ever liked school. So they're going to be shocked that I, of all people, going to be enrolling in college. And so India talks about how when she was in school, she was very insecure. She wasn't the best student because she never felt that school was really her thing. But she's actually coming out of that insecurity shell, and she's finally, realizing that she can be a good student. So India asked her the same thing in terms of Frida. And Frida's like, well, I want to encourage my fans to go out there and be who they are. And, experience something different. Like, college could be a great experience. And especially because, remember, Frida, I said in the last upload, in the last review, Frida is one semester away from finishing his nursing degree. So they talk about that. And then what happens is Tabitha and Nene is at the dinner table. So it's minus one person, and that is Miss Dash. And Miss Dash is in the bedroom, and she's not coming out, and she's not feeling good. So I'm going to go back to episode 1 because I did leave out something. The end of episode 1, they voted on the room swap, and Stacy disagreed. So Stacy had told Nene, because Nene was the head of this, being that Nene is the reality TV icon, she says, so you basically vote about things without taking any consideration or thought, And so Nene's like, no, it's not that. We just trying to make the environment pretty much more, it's not cohesive, but in so many words, what Nene was saying was that we're trying to get to know each other because we're working on a project. So Stacy didn't think it was fair. So Ray J said, if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. So Stacy walks away. Now, Stacy wasn't trying to be friends with anyone. The only one she was really talking to was Dream Doll. And I think that had to do with, one, because she was a female. She was one of the youngest people in the house, besides India. And number 2, they were both from the Bronx. So she could hear that Bronx accent. So it was like, I can relate to her. I don't feel threatened by her. She's not going to challenge me. India is the youngest, but India's like, I ain't kissing her ass. If she don't want to talk, then it's whatever. And India basically says to Frida while they making breakfast, I just feel like she doesn't basically want to be around us. She gives off this standoffish vibe, and she's not contributing equally to the project. And she really wasn't. And you're going to see why. So what happens is Tabitha, Dream Doll, the only one that's talking to her, she basically goes to check on her, and she tells Tabitha, as in Stacy, I don't feel good. So what happens is they call for the ambulance to pick her up. And it was really disturbing because I'm going to say something. To cover somebody in white sheets over their face and their whole body, it was giving me KKK vibes. And I thought it was very ironic that you covered a person like her who hasn't spoken highly of the Black community in years, basically wants to cancel Black History Month. She also was not being an ally to Black people during the whole Obama administration. And she basically was thrusted out of there with white covering over her Black body. I thought that was very weird. And it was very creepy in a sense. So they took her to the hospital, and that was that for right now. So what happens is we see Tabitha go into the study room, and Slim Thug and Ray J is there. And Tabitha basically tells them about what happened with Stacey Dash. Slim Thug is just thinking like, oh yeah, you know, she probably in her room because she don't want to come outside. She's like, room? They took her to the ambulance came because Tabitha says ambulance. And that to me was funny. They took her, and so Slim Thug is like hurt because he likes Stacey. She's a crush that he's had on since he watched Clueless. And Ray J feels bad, but Ray J is not a fan of her. But Slim Thug is like, I think that... No, not Ray J. I'm sorry, not Ray J. Lamar Odom. It's Lamar Odom that's in the room. Lamar Odom feels bad, but he says mental health is nothing to play with. And he should know. You know? And so Slim Thug is like, this is all because of the whole room situation. And I feel bad for Stacey. She didn't deserve to be treated like that. I wish her all the best in the speedy recovery. So we move on to Professor Cooley, conversation that she has with the team. So Tabitha asks her, can we get like make any phone calls to like have like a video editor shoot our edit our video? She said, absolutely not. You have to do this on your own. Tabitha says, well, the opposing team is getting a video editor. And that opens a whole can of worms. Because Dr. Cooley's like, that shouldn't be going on in the first place. But check this out. Ray J had a whole team of people editing it that he was basically paying to edit the videos. Because he didn't have time because he's working on his other businesses. So Frida overhears a conversation that the German Laser team is having with Dr. Cooley, and Big Frida's like, oh, hell no. That group is snitching on us. And he tells Nene. So basically, they have a talk, and they're like, listen, we going to agree to something. If you basically going to snitch back and tell Dr. Cooley that we having video, we getting outside help, we're not going to get outside help. But you got to do the same. So then Nene becomes Nene, and she gets mad and everything. She kind of goes into her Real Housewives of Atlanta, performance. And I love Nene and everything, but Nene, you're not on Housewives of Atlanta no more. You don't have to do this stuff for Andy Cohen. You don't have to be that girl. You've paid your dues. So we get to the day of the presentation, but something happens on that day. Ray J gets a phone call that his great aunt, which is his grandmother's sister from his mother's side, passes away. And he basically says that he's lost his grandmother, his grandfather, and quite a few relatives. And it's just something that he can take. And I'm going to say something. It's a draining thing. Bereavement, I can't stand it. I can't stand the loss. I can't. It's just something that I don't like dealing with. So I'm going to move on from that. But Ray J doesn't show up on a Zeta presentation because of it. Also, before they go there, India talks to Dream Doll, which is Tabitha, about how she pretty much feels like she's 26 years old. She's still finding herself, but she thinks it's too old to do that. And Tabitha Dream Doll is like, oh no, girl. She said, I know people who are in their 50s trying to find themselves. You are never too old to find yourself. Now, Tabitha is 30 years old. She's born in 92. But Tabitha really looks good for her age. She actually looks the same age as India. Matter of fact, they both look young. They look like they're only 20 years old. They look very young for their age. But Tabitha says, I have a younger sister who's the same way as India. And I always try to teach her and encourage her, like, it's never too late to basically live out your dreams. Find yourself, And so Tabitha and India, I could tell you, they're going to be very good friends. They're really going to be good friends. I could tell you that. And so what ends up happening is that Tabitha and India, they get ready for their whole presentation. The whole team goes out there and they head to TSU campus to do their presentations. So we basically first see Hero Hair. And so Nene is the CEO because, and before that, they get notice that Stacy is going to be kept in the hospital. They don't discuss what happened to her, what's wrong with her at all. So what happens is that they're kind of like, in limbo, like, because our captain isn't going to be there. And the same thing when Ray J tells Tabitha Dream Doll, India, and Slim Thug that he can't do it. But the thing with Ray J is that he does give them his word. And Ray J did a good job on that presentation. I'm going to say it. So we get to the day of the presentation. Dr. Cooley calls the Hero Hair Group. They're called Team Mason. And Nene reads off the presentation. The presentation slides look like a template that they downloaded from PowerPoint version number 7 because I've seen it before. That's all I'm going to say for that. So you see the video and how their commercial is. Frida basically turns on the dryer. And every time you sit under the dryer, it fits your hair. Whatever kind of hair you want, whatever hairstyle color, it goes right on top. And then a couple minutes later, it sits up and it's like, voila. Now, like I said, I love hair, but no. So, Big Frida comes up and Big Frida's like, we got different hairstyles. We got the snob, we got the noodle, we got Mr. Clean, we got the bedhead, we got the swap, we got the ooh. And pretty much we see Lamar Odom. And he's the VP for Hero Hair. And they asked Lamar Odom, as part of producers, what does the VP do? And he was like, I don't know. I don't know what the VP does. And Lamar Odom is so genuine and it makes it funny. And he don't know because he had 12 strokes. He don't remember. Like, y'all wrong for asking him that. So anyway, what ends up happening is that Dr. Cooley sees it and she has a lot of criticisms about it. First of all, you didn't mention your target market. And Big Frida says, we do have a target market. It's ethnicity, it's like different ethnicities, gender fluid, multicultural. So she was like, that's not a target market. You have to target it to a specific group. So in the confessionals, Big Frida said, we do. We targeting anybody and everybody who have hair, which I would say makes sense. But I know from studying marketing, you guys have a target market. If they just would have mentioned that the target market is people from urban centers anywhere from the age of 21 to about 49, they would have, right there, would have put the cap on it. So then, and then black women or black men who are gender fluid. So then what ends up happening is that Dr. Cooley also talks about Big Frida's shoes. and says it's not business shoes. And so they were not. They were space shoes. They were cute if you're going to wear them in snow with a silver bubble coat. But no, Frida, no. And it didn't really go with the whole aesthetic of the outfit. Like, I could see if they was black, but I'm like, you don't have anything silver on. So I'm like, okay. But the nails were nice. I love the nails. So anyway, the Germalator group is next. Tabitha's nervous after she was like making some disses about them because they don't have Ray J. Slim Thug is cool, but India is really scared. She's getting anxiety over it. So she goes in the bathroom and she starts like panicking. So Dr. Cooley enters the bathroom to calm her down. And that's how the episode ends. And I'm going to say something. I really, 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 really wish that I would have went to an HBCU now. I don't know what it is. I never thought about going before. I did want to go to Howard when I was in, when I was in high school. And I actually did get a recruitment letter to go to Johnson C. Smith University with a scholarship package. I didn't take it because I didn't want to go away. And I live in New York. And the only HBCU there is like, at the time, one of the worst CUNY colleges, which was Medgar Evers. And I hate to say that because Medgar Evers is an icon in the civil rights movement. But New York doesn't have HBCUs, which is really jacked up. But if there was an HBCU in Jersey, I would have went. Even if I was traveling. I really wish now I would have went to HBCU. And Texas Southern University is a beautiful campus. I gotta say that. But anyway, I really enjoyed this episode more so. And I think I really enjoyed it because they were focusing on a project. And I think it was fun for the most part. But we're going to see part 3. We're going to see in episode 3, the Germalator crew working on it. I've already seen the episode. So I'm going to do my commentary and I'm going to post it tomorrow. Okay. And with that being said, it's your girl, Miss Anna Local. I'm signing off. Thank you for listening to this review. Subscribe if you haven't. Share, comment, like, and hit the notification bell to receive future notices on future uploads. Thank you and have a good night. And stay safe out there.